Hello and hi, my name is Connor. In this video, I am going to be doing my April roundup of my favorite EPs from the month of April. This is a monthly series where I talk about my favorite EPs that I just could not stop thinking about or, listening to. These are 5 that I think are going to stick with me for a while because I plan to not only listen to them, but to also recommend them to everyone I know, including you. With that out of the way, let's talk about our very first EP here, which is going to be the newest from the band Banshimoku, and this is called Nante Happy Lucky. This is a band that I talked all last year about because they had an amazing EP, which I still listen to all the time. This EP that I'm talking about today, though, sounds very, very similar. So in that way, I would maybe even call it a victory lap from that one from last year. While these songs do sound very similar to the songs on that EP from last year, I find that these are just so much more fun and free-flowing and just kind of loosey-goosey. Where in the past, the band has really channeled some Western-sounding rock, such as like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I find that here on this EP, it is sounding a lot more Japanese. In particular, I feel like I hear a lot of Number Girl and also Midori. There is actually one song on this EP, which is titled Waruguchi, and this really reminds me of Yukiko-san by Midori. Maybe you know that, hopefully you do. It is a very popular song from a popular band, from a popular album of theirs, but I just find that there is so much more Japanese inspiration here, where I would maybe even extend that to a little bit of the intensity of like Maximum the Hormone even, but I still think I'm kind of rocking with Number Girl and Midori for the most part. Banshimoku is made up of 2 primary members. That is going to be the singer and guitarist, who is named Shion, and then the drummer, who is named Yamato. And in this next section here, I kind of want to split up what I like about each of their work here on this EP, just to kind of make sense of it all. So first, I want to talk about Yamato, who again is the drummer. And what I really like about his work here is that I feel like he is like constantly mixing up his usual style, just kind of all over the place. Like for instance, on the songs Kinoe and also Waruguchi, as I mentioned earlier, they are sort of weird as far as his sound goes, but then at the same time, I feel like it's a very avant-garde kind of sound too. The final song of this EP is titled Happy, 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 Happy. It's like 5 happies. Yamato on that song just sounds absolutely unleashed. He is all over it. He is everywhere. And it sounds like he's having a lot of fun, which I would hope so, considering the song is named Happy, 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 Happy. So hopefully, right? Next up, let's talk about the lead singer, Shion. She is an amazing singer. Oh my god, she has such a unique voice, and I think that is incredibly obvious from the jump too. So I can't really mimic it here because I just simply can't. So if you want to hear what I mean by that, you can always just go listen to their music. That just might be the easiest way, but I don't know. But aside from that, I do want to talk about how she sounds on guitar primarily, because we all know how great her voice is, so guitar. All right, first and foremost, it sounds sharp and dynamic and even like crisp too. This is especially noticeable on the song, which titled Shinsoku Shinju Shitai, which first and foremost has a really cool name. It sort of means like heartthrob double suicide. Sort of cool. But aside from that too, she has an amazing riff on the song, which is titled Slump Maker, which I just think rocks so hard, and I can hear it even now, I feel like. I really love all of these songs here, and I would love for really any of them to eventually make their way onto whatever album they come out with next, because surely it's coming, right? They have so many previous albums, and they've only made 2 EPs recently. I need a new one. I need a new one. That said too, though, I do actually want to spend one quick second talking about the cover, because this rocks, okay? I love the composition and the colors and the, I guess, lighting too is really what I'm thinking about. I don't know, it just speaks to me. Maybe you feel the same and maybe you can fill me in. So if you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments, because like, this is cool. I just can't explain why. Next up is going to be the new EP from the band Kinoe, and this is titled Ordinary EP. These songs here are just absolutely lovely indie math rock songs, and I can't get these out of my head, man. Maybe I would even call it light shoegaze a little bit too, just predominantly, I feel like it is math rock. This is a band that has been around for ages, yet this is only their first EP. And I think the wait was worth it too. I say that because this is an EP that I am just absolutely in love with in every way. It just has such a happy vibe and an upbeat energy, and there's just great songwriting and compositions kind of everywhere. Like I just mentioned, I would really say that the 3 pillar sounds of this EP are going to be math rock, shoegaze, and also indie rock too. Really, each of these songs is exemplifying each of these 3 pillars too, just constantly. They are just so on task all the time. And I mean, like, look no further than on the song, which is titled aquarelle tints. I had to write it down because I don't know how to say this, like aquarelle tints. This has an amazing guitar riff that is math rock. That's really good. I like that a lot. I'm really rocking with it. Now, content-wise, okay, their lead singer is named Mio, and I really like her songwriting style, I have to say. There is one song which is titled Yoru no Kaeri Michi, and this has this line that is something akin to like something coming to an end at a time when even the stars are asleep. And I really like that imagery because you don't think about stars sleeping because like we're asleep when the stars are, and it's just like so cool. Like, oh my god, I just love that imagery, like honestly. One other instance that I want to talk about is going to be from the song, which has a long title, so I have it written down too. It is Aoi Asa Kao ga Saku Koro. And this is just a really sweet song about love. One thing in particular that I do want to point out is going to be the absolute final line here, and this is how it goes. Ah, I can't communicate it. Gently beside this windowsill, I made the sound of placing a flower. Instead of verbalizing her wishes, because she can't bring herself to do that, all she can do is like make the sound of her feeling. That's awesome. I love that so much. I could really see them releasing a classic one day in the future. I really think they have the potential for that. There is just something about their sound specifically that I'm like, oh, they know music. This next EP is going to be from another newish band. They are called Inunohi, and this EP is going to be titled Hikari de aretara. This is a band who have been dropping singles all throughout 2025, and now we have this EP, which is absolutely wonderful. I think the best way I could describe it is that this sounds like rock from yesteryear. It's so punchy sounding, especially with the intro song, which then leads into the actual first song on the EP, which I love too. And also one thing I want to mention is that the mixing, okay? The mixing might just be perfect. And I think I say that because from memory, when I was listening to it, I'm like, oh damn, this sounds fantastic. This might be some of the best mixing I've ever heard, which really surprised me considering how indie these guys are. Case in point, listen to the song titled Nacht Musik. This song has a very DIY sound, but you can tell that the mixer has some serious skills. I think maybe the quality of the recording could have been a little bit better, but the mixing really saves it in that way, I feel like. There are actually some added elements on top of what's already, I guess, on the track, such as the beautiful chorus of vocals on the song Unplugged Youth. That's just wonderful. Now, I suppose there is one downside to this EP, and that is that it's only 16 minutes long, and then, like I said, the very first song is more of like an intro, but I think when they have their like first proper EP or album, that is maybe like 25 to like 35 minutes in length, it's gonna be really, really magnificent. And I say that because with the inclusion of the intro here, I feel like you can really tell that they are striving for more. And so because of that, I do feel like they really have the potential to make something that is long-standing, if you will. And I am very much looking forward to that day. Similarly, that is also how I felt about this next band and this next EP, which is going to be Awake Children Under the Moon by the band, I think it's pronounced Cissné, I want to say. Cissne. Cissné? Hopefully I got it right, I don't know. This EP and this band, okay, their sound is shoegaze, emo, metal, and screamo. Now, hold on. Maybe you aren't a fan of one or two or three of those. I still think you should check it out because this is just so interesting from that standpoint, because yes, it is all of those genres and it's not doing anything particularly special with them, but the way that they're blended together, or it becomes so blurry that you can't even really pick it out, that is interesting. While I do think that the instrumentals are absolutely like A+, if not A tier, the vocals, this is some harsh screamo, yet sometimes it's still like sweet and lovely singing too. And that dichotomy is something that I love hearing all across this. The songs here feature some very thoughtful production too, I think. Like the song Home features water very lightly in the background. In that way, I think it's very easy to miss, but it is there, and it really adds a lot of texture to the track too. Speaking of texture, there is a ton of distortion across this whole thing and just noise and just screeching. It sounds like you are listening to a blizzard, and that's a cool sound, honestly. And then of course that blizzard is made up of the vocals and the instrumentals, which go together perfectly, like I would even say like peanut butter and jelly. It's basically a match made in heaven. Surprisingly too, there is a lot of piano across this EP. Its inclusion here really adds to the drama of it all, and it almost sounds like this is an album at the end of the world. I can't not use metaphors for this music because it is just so artsy, so I have to kind of match that energy, right? This is another EP too, where I do have to mention that I love the cover. It feels immediately iconic, and I hope it stays that way too. I really do like it. I like the art direction, and I like the direction that the band is actually going in general. So that kind of worked out in my notes there, huh? Look at that, big brain. And so now to round it out, I want to spend some time talking about the amazing split EP from two bands. This is Seventh Jet Balloon and Platform, and this EP is just titled Split EP. Love that. And you know what else I love? These two bands. So when I found out that they were teaming up for a split EP, I was like, they have answered my prayers. They are in my head and they know exactly what I want. I love these two bands. Most notably, I covered Seven Jet Balloon's first album 2 years ago now, and then I covered Platform's newest EP at the time, about this time last year, maybe in March of last year. So already, I love their music. What is so fantastic about this team up too is that these two bands perfectly match each other's energy. Sometimes you will have a split EP where one side is a little bit lackluster compared to the other. Sure, maybe they are in the same genre and are friends IRL, but for whatever reason, they just don't sound very cohesive back to back like that. But Platform and Seven Jet Balloon, perfect. The boys are doing what the boys do best, and that is a whole load of high energy pop punk and punk in general and math rock. So I think first let's start with talking about Seven Jet Balloon because I just can't wait. I need to talk about more Seven Jet Balloon. I love them so much. Now, if I recall, there may be the 5th or 6th video on my channel that I ever made. And so for that reason, they have a very soft spot in my heart, or I have a soft spot in my heart for them. That makes more sense. Anyway, they are a mix of Midwest emo and also math rock and of course pop punk too. And they have this real seishun vibe, or even shunshoku kind of vibe, if you kind of know what I'm putting out there. But unfortunately, they don't release music too often. Whenever they do, it almost feels like a holiday, which is actually very ironic considering there is a song on here which is titled Snowing Day 2. And I love this song. The guitar goes crazy across it though. That's just kind of par for the course for Seven Jet Balloon. Now for Platform, okay, this picks up right where Seven Jet Balloon left off. It's even to the point where I want to say that in the first minute of their very first song, I hadn't realized that it switched from Seven Jet Balloon to Platform. I thought it was just another Seven Jet Balloon song. That is how locked in these two bands are. Their very first song on this EP is titled Shu, and it's a great tester for the rest of their sound, I feel like, because if you like this, you are going to like the other two songs, and if you like those other two songs, you will love Platform's back catalog, because I know I do. I mean, damn. With the most recent being their EP from last year, which is titled Where is Ihatov, I just really recommend that one, and the cover goes crazy too. But anyway, this is an EP that I just adore overall because of that seamless nature of it. These two bands are just so perfectly in sync, and their sound is just such a great marriage of all of those genres I mentioned that I can't really ask for anything else besides for this to not be 20 minutes long. This needs to be an hour long, but at that point, it's just two separate albums. So I'm really just asking for new albums from these two bands, which isn't a big ask, but I want it anyway. My final thoughts on this EP are that it is just the perfect sound for summertime lounging, road trips in the car, hanging out with your friends. It's just such great rock music. And I think that's really the objective that the two bands had in mind when making this too. So mission accomplished, I think. Hopefully you'll feel that same way too, because it's what I know in my heart, in my kokoro. It's right here. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that is going to be the very last EP that I talk about in this list. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you get a chance to check all of these out, and hopefully these are ones that are already on your radar, but if not, then you are welcome. You are very welcome. You in particular, I see you. You're welcome. And as always, if you are interested in seeing more videos like this, please subscribe. Something else I talked about recently is that I started a Patreon. If you would like to join, you will get your name in the credits of every video. So, you know, might be cool. And you know, all you have to pay is $1. So I'm just saying. And I think that is enough plugs for me. In case you do want to check out any of these artists or the EPs that I talked about, they of course will be listed in the description too. So easy access for you. I hope, at the very least. But yeah, I think at that point, that's all I got for you. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next monthly roundup, or hopefully even sooner, if you want to check out my video for next week. So thank you again, and bye-bye.